All right, I am going live. Boy, I was not expecting this. Um, hi. Glad I didn't take my makeup off from earlier. You know. All right, so let me mute YouTube. There we go. Hi, everyone. Yeah, impromptu emergency breaking news. Oh my God, Lori Vallow has waived her right to a preliminary hearing, and we will have a short hearing before Judge Eddins any moment now. I'm going to bring that to you live, and we can talk about it. So. Here we go. I need to be able to hear something. Let me plug in my little headphones here. Sorry, I was not planning on doing this, so I'm not prepared. Give me a second to get all hooked up and in the mix of things, because I'm gonna have to hear. All right. A lot of you might have seen the live that Paul and I did this morning, talking about the hearing. Talked about Nate's new interview with Melanie Gibb. That was fun. And in there, I did mention that Lori's preliminary hearing was not on Judge Eddins' docket, which I was like, huh, what's going on there? And I thought, did she waive it? So I just said that about an hour ago. Turns out she did. So now we know why it was not on the docket. We are going to have a hearing before Judge Eddins. And as soon as that starts, that should be any minute now. As soon as that's, oh, here we go, it's live. Let me get that for you. All right. Hold on, it's coming. It's coming. Here we go. I'm going to put it full screen for y'all. All right, let me jack up the volume because it's really quiet.
Good morning. We're going to go on the record here in Fremont County. This is CR 2220-838, State of Idaho versus Lori Noreen Vallow, aka Lori Noreen Daybell. This is a remote hearing that was scheduled this morning. My name is Judge Eddins. Here on the remote Zoom hearing. We have Mr. Wood appearing for the state. We have Mr. Means, the attorney for the defendant. I also have Miss Daybell appearing from Madison County and some IT people here to help us out. This matter is being streamed live via YouTube. This is, again, CR 2220-838. The court received information from the defense counsel that a waiver of preliminary hearing had been signed and executed, and that it was going to be filed today. The court set this hearing so that we could take up the matter and in due process vacate the preliminary hearing that's scheduled for next week. Ms. Daybell, can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Ms. Daybell, I have in front of me a waiver of preliminary hearing that has the title on the top, State of Idaho versus Lori Noreen Vallow, aka Lori Noreen Daybell. Do you have that document in front of you?
I do.
Ms. Daybell, I can barely hear you. Do you mind speaking up?
I do.
Ms. Daybell, there are two charges on that document, count 1 and count 2, and there are 14 separate paragraphs that are listed on there. Is that the document you have in front of you?
Yes.
Ms. Daybell, did you get a chance to review this document in full with your attorney, Mr. Means?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about the document?
No.
Ms. Daybell, on page 2 of the document, under paragraph 14, it designates nothing. I just want to make sure that that handwritten thing of nothing was there at the time you signed this. Is that correct?
Yes. It was.
Did you say it was?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And it just below that, there is a designation that I understand these rights, and by signing below, I waive my right to a preliminary hearing. It has a printed name, and then it has a signature above that. Is that your signature?
Yes, it is.
And then you dated July 17th, 2020. Is that the date that you signed this document?
Yes.
Right below that, Mr. Means, there's a signature of an attorney. That is your signature, is that right?
It is, Your Honor.
All right, on the date there, it shows 7/17/29. I'm assuming that's a typo, is that correct?
Yes, the 29 is a typo. It should be 20. You're correct.
All right. Based upon that, via interlineation, I'm just going to cross out the 9 and put a 0 there. Mr. Wood, any objection you making that change?
I'm sorry, Judge, what's that?
I said, any objection to me interlineating that?
No objection, thank you.
July 17th, 2020. Ms. Daybell, do you have any questions about this document at all today?
No.
Do you understand what a waiver of a preliminary hearing is and what this document represents?
Yes.
And you're doing this freely and voluntarily, is that correct?
Yes.
You understand that there will be no preliminary hearing that is currently scheduled for Monday and Tuesday that will be vacated. Do you understand that?
Correct.
You also understand that you'll be bound over to the district court where an arraignment will be scheduled in front of Judge Boyce. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Means, anything else we need to take up today?
No, the only thing I'd add, Your Honor, is when the documents were signed back on the 17th of July, that was purely for logistics reasons, given the distance between the office and where Ms. Daybell is currently in detention.
That's understood. I appreciate that clarification. Mr. Wood, anything else that we need to do here on the record today?
No, not from the state.
All right, that will take care of it. We'll send notice out of the arraignment date. Mr. Means, if there's a specific date that you'd like us to consider, please let us know and we'll take that into consideration in scheduling this. Otherwise, we'll be adjourned pending that arraignment date in front of Judge Boyce. Thank you all for appearing today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, there we go. My goodness. Well, that was a surprise, sort of. Apparently, they have been discussing this because these documents were signed on July 17th. So there you go. This might have been her plan all along. They wanted to wait and see how Chad's hearing went first. And based on the results of that and probably some of the information that came out, Lori and Mark decided it was in her best interest to not have her preliminary hearing. Interesting. She does have the right to do that, obviously. All that means is that she's just going to go right to trial. That's automatically going to trial, right? That doesn't, the judge, I mean, if they had any chance at all of having the charges reduced or dismissed, they would have to have the preliminary hearing. So, all right, she's going to trial. All right, when will the next hearing be? There should be a status hearing coming up eventually. I'm not sure how long that's going to be. As soon as I know about that, of course, we're going to bring that to you live. But there you go. What do you all think of that? I admit I am disappointed because, ow, I'm taking these out because nobody can hear me. I don't need to listen now. Anyway, those hurt. So let's see, just checking to see if Paul was around. Risa, thank you so much for welcome. Risa is part of Risa's Pieces. All right, there we go. That's fitting. Thank you, Risa. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. Okay, so no preliminary hearing for Lori. I'm a little bit disappointed based on the list of potential witnesses. It was going to be lit, and that could be why they decided not to do that. I don't think she would have come out of a preliminary hearing looking good at all. So maybe that's a smart decision. The preliminary hearing is really, the defense's last chance to come up with some actual, affirmative defenses like a solid alibi or something like that, which we know she doesn't have. So there's really no point for them to go through it and get a lot of that information out there that maybe they're not quite ready to deal with. So I can see them doing that. I get it. I'm disappointed. I wanted to see the hearing very badly. I wanted to see some of the witnesses on her witness list, but there you go. I also kind of thought that it would have just been a carbon copy of Chad's because the probable cause affidavits are almost identical. So even though her witness list was longer, I'm not sure Wood would have called any of them, that we haven't already seen. Glenda Owen, thank you for joining Reese's Pieces. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you so much. Your support, guys, means the world to me. So, and we went live this morning, Paul and I, over on the podcast channel, and we were going to talk about our reaction to the hearing for some of our people, viewers that live in England and Australia that don't really get to make it to our nighttime streams. But Nate Eaton this morning released an interview that he did with Melanie Gibb after her testimony yesterday, or the other day before yesterday. And we had some pretty strong reactions to that. We really did. So that's up over there if you want to check that out. But man, that was some crazy stuff. And there's Paul. I think he's out shopping. Let me see if you are home. Come on with me. All right, see if Paul can come to StreamYard, pop on with us. Not sure he'll be able to. Hold on one sec. Got a cough. But yeah, so we were talking about that this morning, about Melanie Gibb's new interview with Nate Eaton. And She does love that camera, doesn't she? Yeah, she does. So yeah, I had some very strong opinions about that. May have ruffled a few feathers. I apologize, sort of, but that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. So I was a little riled up after that, and now to get this, it's just like, I was just gonna go play a video game and relax for a while, kind of, tone things down a little bit, but that didn't work. All right, Paul is currently checking out at the store. When he gets to his car, he's going to come online and join us. So bear with me a few minutes, and we'll have Paul to come see what he thinks about Lori doing this. I kind of thought it was going to be a day when I woke up this morning. I was telling my mods over in Discord, we were chatting. I'm like, it's not even noon, and it has already been a day. And it's just going to keep being a day, isn't it? It really is. All right, so Chad's higher court hearing date was set. August 21st is Chad's arraignment before the district court judge. So that's coming up. Lori's should be not long after, or maybe even before, since we're waiving the whole preliminary. Maybe they'll just pop that in the end of the week. We don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what is filed. Let me check my tweet deck. Justin Lum, if you're not following Justin Lum on Twitter, it is JLumFox10. He is the first one to ever get all the legal documents out and online. Nate does great with all the interviews and stuff like that. Justin has got the documents. So follow Justin on Twitter. I will be posting the waiver, all the forms that they were just talking about in the hearing. I'll post those all in Discord so you can see them all. And we'll read through them. There shouldn't be anything surprising. Dawn S., thank you so much. Welcome to the team. It's so glad to have you here. I'm so glad to have you here. I can't even talk. It's been such a day, guys. What all happens in the arraignment? Pretty much what they're going to do, they'll read the charges. Chad will enter his plea. The judge will set future court dates. They'll have to have some status hearings, conferences, stuff like that, and then set the trial schedule. So they'll maybe pick a date for the trial to start. I don't expect to see that until next year, probably. So, it's going to be a while before all of this goes to trial. But Chad's arraignment, that hearing on the 21st should be live, so we'll be able to cover that. Hopefully they're going to schedule Lori's just around the same time, if not sooner, So there we go. We're not having. I'm kind of sad. I really enjoyed getting to hang out with you guys for Monday and Tuesday for that whole hearing. I enjoyed that. It was challenging. That's a very long time for a live stream, but it was good too. I woke up the next day like, well, now what do we do? What do I do all day? Can't hang out and chat with people. So I'm kind of sad about that. That would have been good. Oh well, but we will stay on top of the news. So we're Kelly Fitzgerald info. I'm just trying to keep up with chat. Chat's going a little quick. I'm not sure what you're asking about, but I will try to keep one eye on chat. I know I'm looking off to the side because chat's over there. Sorry about that. Do I think Rob Wood has a plan to charge them together for the murders? I don't know. I think let's wait and see what happens at Chad's arraignment and Lori's arraignment, and then he might try to combine it into one trial. That can get a little tricky. We have seen cases where we've had two defendants, that could be happening. So we're going to have to wait and see. There's no word on that yet. Do I think Rob Wood will do that? Possibly, because certainly what we're going to see is a lot of doubling up of witnesses and testimony and a lot of the same information just being repeated for two totally different trials. That's going to cost the county a fortune. So he might try to do that. He absolutely might. I wonder now if Lori will take a plea deal if offered. That'll be interesting to watch for sure. Rather than waiting for the outcome, rolling the dice like Chad did, she just saw the light and decided to skip the prelim. Yep, Lay, that is absolutely her right. And yeah, I think she knows what would have come out, and I think she knows that she was not going to get the charges dismissed or reduced. So there was really no point to the prelim, and maybe wanting to keep certain information, from coming out, because some of that testimony could end something. She's running scared after Chad. Yep. Oh, and here's Paul. Let me hit the button. Put my earphones in so I can hear him. Hello. How are you?
Hey. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So this is disappointing news. I'm not going to lie. We were just talking about this.
Yep. Yeah, I knew it was a possibility because I didn't see it on the docket, but I was really hoping because I want to hear some of those new witnesses that we saw on the list. But
I know.
man,
I know. I mean, oh my God. But I mean, putting my because I'm the same as you, I want to see all that. But then putting that aside, I'm also like, I mean, I can see why. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
she's probably like, this. We know what's going to happen. You know, they're just going to parade me out there. I'm going to have to make up a new batch of Skittles lipstick. And it's just going to be a whole thing. And she's like, why bother?
Yep. And there's probably some people on that witness list that made her a little nervous. She's like, I don't want them on the stand talking about that. So from that point of view, from her defense point of view, that would make sense to waive the prelim. So
Yeah. Absolutely. And two, 100% she's going to frame it like this. I did it to protect other people. You know what I'm saying? Like with Melanie Pulowski and things like that. Like she will take the martyr stance. Like I wanted to do the preliminary hearing, but it was best for everyone else. You know, and it's just like, no, that's not how this goes. We've been around the block. We've been around the block. Man. I can't believe that. I was literally in the checkout line and I was like, let me see what's going on. And I saw breaking news going live. I was like, oh no, what has happened?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. Why is Eamon blowing up my phone now? There we go. All right. So the hearing with the judge was only like 5 minutes, you know. Basically, whoops, we just lost Paul. Paul, if you're still listening, the only interesting thing about the hearing was that the documents to waive the preliminary were signed on July 17th. So, here he comes. He's back. There we go. You're back.
I pressed the wrong button. Sorry. So you said the hearing with the judge was only 5 minutes. Yep.
And the only real interesting thing is that Mark Means had filled out the form, the waiver, and had Lori sign it on July 17th. So they've been talking about this for a while. Now, he says they only did that for logistics because his office is so far away from where she is and stuff, which makes sense. But it's certainly something that they were like, let's watch and see what happens to Chad first. Then we'll decide, you know. Yeah. So, yeah. There we go.
So how was Mark Means in court today? Like how was he?
I think he said 4 words. Yes, Judge. Yes, Your Honor. Okay. Bye. That was pretty much it. It was very, very short and just, you really want to waive it? Yes, Judge. Yes, Lori. Lori said yes. He was like, okay, bye. See ya. You know, even Rob Wood didn't have too much to say. So,
I mean, it is what it is. Man, well, you called that out. I mean, this morning you said that they're not on the docket, and I was like, oh no, I got that shaky feeling about it.
Yep. Yep, definitely.
At least we know right now. You know what I'm saying? At least it's not like dragging out of several days to be like, are they going to do it or are they not going to do it?
Yep. Yeah, but I am sad because I was really looking forward to sitting here and talking with people all day Monday watching this stuff. But, you know, legally, I think they probably did the smart thing because they don't have a chance in heck of getting those charges dismissed or reduced. Not a chance. So there we go.
The thing that's, I don't want to say complicated, but also that has drawn all our attention into it. And just like you were saying with, you know, people on the witness list for that particular, her preliminary hearing, each time somebody gets up there and we hear a little bit more from them and we see a little bit more evidence, we're able to piece the puzzle together more to get to the real truth of the matter. You know, because just like you were saying earlier, where there is all of this muddled, we go with what everybody's doing and we say this one time and this time, whatever. You know, we can start to piece it together. So I was the same way. I was like, literally dying to get Pulowski up on the witness stand and hear some things from her. You know what I mean? And just piece things together more and also see people implicate themselves more, even if it's just from implicating themselves in lying. You know what I'm saying? To see how much the story changes, so on and so forth. So now I feel like, man, now we're going to be in the dark again. We've gone dark, you know? So we're just going to have to like hang tight for the next thing.
Yep. Someone asked in chat who was on the witness list. We were going to have some interesting people like Melanie Pulowski, Ian Pulowski, some of Chad Daybell's kids, Lori's neighbors, presumably the ones that had the Ring camera, even 3 pediatricians from Arizona that were possibly going to talk about Tylee and JJ's well-being or health while they were in Arizona. So it would have been an interesting list of people to hear from. We're just going to have to wait for trial. They'll be called for trial, rest assured. We will get to hear that eventually. So, yeah.
Fun times.
Yep. So that's what's happening. As soon as they schedule her arraignment, I will let you know. They could be scheduling it right now. Keeping a look on Justin. He will let us know as soon as that. The arraignment date has not yet been scheduled, says Eric Grossarth, who is also with East Idaho News. But as soon as they schedule it, I'll let you know. But if you haven't seen... Sorry, go ahead.
Was she in the courtroom?
Yeah, it was a remote hearing, so she was alone in the courtroom with her mask on. Like, why are you wearing a mask? You're the only one there. Mark Means was in his office, Rob Wood was in his, and Judge Eddins was on the bench. So,
how did she look?
Well, she looked... we couldn't see her facial expression because of her mask, but she sat there with her hands on the table, very demure, and she used that voice of, yes, Judge, I understand. Yes. And it was like, that voice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, so she didn't have that confident. Because remember when this first started going off and she was in Hawaiian courtroom and she was all full of smiles and,
right.
Like still kind of in her high and mighty, when's this going to be over with? I'm ready to go home.
Yeah, bouncing her hair around and doing all that. Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely not the case anymore.
Yeah, she was in street clothes. She had that light blue sweater on again, so she wasn't, in her jail outfit. So, can you post the link of Nate's Twitter that has the video of Melanie? Nate's Twitter, you don't really link to it. It's just at Nate News Now. So the description to Nate's is in almost all of my video descriptions. But just go look Nate News Now at Twitter and you'll find him. He did do an interview. Nate. Where's the interview with him and Melanie? Let me drop that link. He interviewed Melanie Gibb after her testimony the other day. And copy link. That was a thing.
That was a thing.
Yeah, that was definitely a thing. We had some strong opinions about that. If you want to watch that, it's over on the podcast channel. I will edit the description of this and put a link to that in there. But yeah, Melanie Gibb cannot stop talking. She's probably sad that there's no hearing Monday too, because she probably wanted to stand and talk about more scripture.
Let me tell you what, that interview between her and Nate was like the kind of morning coffee that puts hair in your chest. I mean, I was just like, my God, we're starting the day off like this? Okay. Here we go.
Yep. Miss KJ Torres says she should just waive the entire trial and plead guilty. I'd be okay with that as long as she got life in prison without parole. That'd be all right.
Here's the whole thing with situations like that, because obviously it's like we want answers, we want this and that, but we already got a taste of what it was like seeing the Woodcocks in the courtroom listening to this awful stuff of the discovery of the bodies. And that's just, it makes it, not that it's not real already, but it's very sobering. And granted, I mean, my hat goes off to them. I think they're amazing. I think they have, I just admire their resilience and their strength through this. Because if it wasn't for them, honestly, I don't think we would be here. I think people would have gotten away with a lot of stuff. But those are the times where I'm just like, yeah, you know what? If they pled guilty to this, it would probably be best. But with the Woodcocks, I do think that they're strong enough to endure that. You know what I'm saying? And I almost think that it's like they want the truth too.
Yeah.
Because seeing some of their reactions to listening to Lori just say the most awful things about Kay that are so completely false, and it's just like, it still just shocks me. It just shocks me that she has the gall to say those things, but it is what it is.
Yeah, a lot of people in chat are asking for a recap. What happened was today, Mark Means filed a motion with the court Lori has decided to waive her preliminary hearing. She has the right to do so. So we will not be seeing her Monday and Tuesday of next week. Her case instead will proceed directly to trial. She has no chance now to plead for lower charges or to have the charges dismissed. This means she's like, yeah, there's no chance that's going to happen. So let's just skip the prelim and go straight to trial. There will be an arraignment scheduled. It has not been scheduled yet, but as soon as I know, you will know when that's going to be, and we will cover that live, assuming they broadcast it. But that's what we have for you today. It's kind of crazy. This case is too much. It's just too much, man.
Take your damn blood pressure medicine and call it good. I mean, my gosh. The anxiety.
Yep.
Well, this is a fascinating update. I'm so glad. I have to go. I'm out birthday shopping for Matt. So I have to go in the next store so I can go and get back home and finish recording my video. But thanks for having me on, and thanks everybody for having me.
I'm glad you weren't at work. It's so nice when you're not at work.
I know.
Paul, come talk to me.
And I'm loving the StreamYard app on the phone. Now, mine's locked up right now, so I can't see chat or myself moving. I'm just frozen drinking my Starbucks drink. But, you know, apparently it's working on your side, so cool.
Yep, definitely. All right, so that's all the news we got for you today. Don't forget, I have a live stream tonight, Patreon and YouTube members. I will get you links to that later on. We have more videos coming up. Aren't we doing something this weekend? Are we doing a weekend stream, Paul? You and me on the podcast channel, I think? Or on your channel? What? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's
somewhere
over
the weekend. Just drop the link in there and have people subscribe to it, because it'll be kind of last minute like we do. But I can tell you today is what, Thursday? Oh, there'll be something to talk about. Things will be turned up.
Stormy.
Yeah,
Stormy and Bipolar Princess just dropped links to the podcast channel. That's where Paul and I do a lot of impromptu lives and talk about all kinds of things, not just this case. We're into a lot of things. So subscribe to that channel, because when the mood strikes us, sometimes we just go live just because. So
just because we love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming.
I'm going to be checking my phone. Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me. And now I'm going to be glued. I have 4% left. So that means something is going to major happen in like the next hour.
Yep. We might be right back here. Yep. Exactly.
All right. Well, I'll talk to everybody soon. Thank you.
Bye, Paul. Thanks for coming on.
Bye.
All right, guys. So that is the news for right now. Is he stuck in the stream? All right. There he goes. There will be no preliminary hearing for Lori Vallow next week. She has decided to waive that option. Her case will now proceed to trial on the... Now, what this case is about, these are the 2 conspiracy to conceal and destroy evidence charges. All right. She does have trial scheduled for January for the 3 misdemeanors. That's a separate case with a separate judge in a separate district. So that's what we know right now. As soon as they schedule the arraignment, I will let you know. If anything big happens, I'm going to come back to you live again today for the 3rd time. So please hit the notification bell. Not because I'm trying to like drum up subs or whatever that crazy stuff is, but if something else happens, I want to go live and I don't want you to miss it. Like we just had that very quick, short, impromptu hearing with Judge Eddins. We weren't expecting that. Didn't have time to really get the word out. So if you ring the bell, you'll know the second I go live, and it's probably going to be for something important. So there you go. Let's just take a few minutes with chat since you're all here and I haven't got to see you in a day. Do you think anything will be said to the LDS Church about them telling members not to talk? I'm not sure how the LDS Church is going to handle this. Certainly after some of the things that Melanie Gibb said on the stand, Melanie Gibb said that her and Chad and Lori were all LDS. She didn't say, well, no, they were a crazy offshoot. She said, oh, yes, we're LDS. Oh, yes, I'm still involved in the church. I would think the church would want to address that. I don't know if they will. They might just draw more attention. That could be the Streisand effect in action. So I don't know if they'll say anything, but, you know. Bucci Stover asks, maybe she pled guilty. She did not plead guilty yet. What she has done is just waived her right to a preliminary hearing. The case will proceed to trial. The first thing that's going to happen is they will have an arraignment date before a district court judge, probably the same one that Chad is going to be seeing on the 21st. And then she will enter her plea. They'll read the charges, all that kind of stuff then. So as soon as I know when that hearing happens, I will let you know. Let's see. Sam says she's crouched in the curtain aisle of Walmart watching on her phone. Yes, you are the people of Walmart. Yep. The LDS will lawyer up about their members, quite possibly. The Mormon Church is not a small organization. They are very large, very powerful. They're not going to want to have this kind of crazy stuff aired nationally or even globally using the name of their church. They're not going to like that at all. So we're going to have to see what they say about that. The big story to me is why no murder charges. Snap out of it. It's too soon for that. They have a lot of stuff to investigate still. There will be some kind of charge, whether it's accessory to commit murder or murder if they think, they were physically involved in the murder. There will be more charges. Okay. I do not doubt that at all, but it's going to take some time and we have to be really patient with that. The point right now is to make sure that Chad and Lori are incarcerated, held in jail while the investigation progresses. These charges that are before Chad and Lori will accomplish that. All right. So get them securely incarcerated. That gives Rob Wood and the investigation and law enforcement time to really tie all the pieces together, because they can't bring charges too soon until they have all of their evidence lined up, because what if they lose? They have to bring the charges when they know for sure they can win a conviction. So it's going to take them some time to get that all ironed out. That's all. It will be coming. I don't doubt that for a second. I wish... Sorry, that's my husband in the background. I wish someone could explain to me the different time between Tylee disappearing and her burial. Okay, I can explain that, but let me cough first too. All right, excuse me. If you look at the probable cause affidavit, Luann Atkins is asking the question. The affidavit is up in my Discord server. You can read the entire thing. It talks about what happened when Tylee disappeared. She was last seen on camera or in any verifiable way in Yellowstone Park on September 8th on a trip that she took with Alex, Lori, and JJ, possibly others. We haven't confirmed that yet, though. And that evening, they got home, and that's the last time she was ever seen. What we know is that Alex Cox went to Lori's apartment in the middle of the night for about an hour, left for about an hour, then went back to his house for a couple of hours, and then showed up in Chad's yard later the next morning of the 9th. And that is the time when they believe that Tylee was, let's say, buried in Chad's yard. We're just going to call it that. We know more happened. I'm just going to say that Tylee was buried in Chad's yard. They assume that Alex did it, or someone holding Alex's cell phone, and that Chad was involved with that as well. All right. We don't know any more particulars about that, other than, the manner of how she was buried, but let's not get into that right here. But we don't know what happened between the last known sighting at Yellowstone and how she got from there to Chad's yard the next morning. All right. Obviously, Alex Cox was involved. Lori must have been. She was with them. And that's it. That's all we know. That kind of information will come out more deeply in trial, but that's part of their investigation. They have to figure that out. They have to be able to go to court and say, this is exactly what happened to Tylee, or at least in a very strong circumstantial way that makes it beyond a reasonable doubt. Remember, the threshold for a conviction is convincing a jury that these things happened beyond a reasonable doubt. That's a high bar. So they have to have as many facts as they possibly can and the strongest sort of evidence that they can before they even bring the charges. So it's going to take a while. Yeah, Andrew, some of the details that they've released so far have been horrific, and we're going to hear a lot worse. Remember, the formal autopsy reports for the children, I'm pretty sure they're back now. They said it would take a couple weeks, about a month ago, to get all of the forensics done. That has not been released yet. That will be at some point, whether we get it. It may not be released publicly, but it will certainly be brought up at trial, and we are going to have to listen to those kinds of details, and that's going to be heartbreaking and horrifying. So this is going to be a rough trial, guys. I know that sometimes Paul and I get on here and we're a little lighthearted and we make jokes about Melanie Gibb and some of the stuff, because we try to find humor in any way we can to kind of lighten this, because it is a horrific case. So you got to keep that balance. So don't think we're being irreverent. We're not. We're just, trying to get through it and keep a level mental balance so we don't descend into darkness, because then we'd be zombies. And that would be bad. That'd be really bad. So someone is probably, that someone is probably Lori with Alex's phone. We don't know. Glenda, it could be Alex. I mean, Alex doesn't seem to understand the phone thing. They've tracked his phone for like a solid month or two. At least they probably know a lot more than they've told us. So it could very well have been Alex, but the more information that will come out at trial that will let us know, was that Alex? Was it Lori who had the phone? Where was Chad? Where's Lori's phone? Where's Chad's phone? Where's Tylee's phone? All of that stuff. That they are looking at all of that. They're not going to tell us everything yet. It's too soon. So let's see what's going on in chat. Yeah, not zombies. We don't want to be zombies. Let's see. Now that Alex is dead, who is to know? Yeah, exactly. Alex is long gone. So we're never going to hear his side of the story. No, we are not. But all right, so that was a quick impromptu live. I wanted to make sure that you could see that hearing. It's very short. You can just rewind the replay of this live stream and you can see it. It takes about 5 minutes. Nothing of any great new information or import was said other than now we know there will not be a preliminary hearing. So do you think Lori and Chad think that they are not going to be in prison? I think, yeah, Rupal, I think that they believe they're going to get out of prison, or it's only going to be these charges. So they'll have to do 5 years or so and they'll get out. I think they firmly believe that, which is crazy, but I think they're crazy. So, yeah. Remember the Casey Anthony case that the jury couldn't convict her because they didn't know how Kaylee died. Yep. Marlena, that is a big concern. Absolutely. Viking American, welcome to the team. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate that. And for all the new channel members today, there will be a members only live stream later on tonight. We're going to talk about some cool stuff, and the link will be on the community tab. So there should be a members post or something like that. Keep an eye out for that. Later on, there'll be the link to that so you can come and chat with me tonight. That'll be a lot of fun. All right, so that's all there is. I am starving. I haven't even had breakfast yet because I woke up and had to do my makeup and stuff and go live with Paul. And I was just starting to relax from that when this happened. So I actually need to go eat some food. Food is good. So I'm going to do that. If anything else big breaks in the news, I will come back live. So be prepared if this could happen again. But until then, I will see you Patreon and members YouTube live tonight. I have 2 videos in the works for you. I'm going to talk about John Pryor and his cross-examination of Melanie Gibb. He asks some incredibly specific questions that I think are showing us his hand for what he's going to do with her at trial. And that's a big deal. So I'm going to break all that down for you. And then also a video about David Warwick, because a lot of people have no idea who this guy is. And he is a very interesting character. And I want you to know who he is. So those will be coming today and tomorrow as soon as I can get them up. I do need a break today because, man, I'm in a mood. I am in a mood. Melanie Gibb's interview with Nate Eaton put me in a mood. So I'm going to go play a game and try and relax or something. Man. Yeah, just checking chat one last time. Yeah, join us in Discord. Bipolar Princess just put a link to Discord. There's conversation around the clock. All of the documents that I get go up in Discord. I'm usually in the voice chat half the time, so you can just come and sit and talk to me. So Discord is the place to be. It's totally free. Does not cost you anything to join Discord. And it's not an affiliate program or anything like that. It's just a great free chat platform where we can meet and share all the information. So hope to see you there. And I'll talk to most of you tonight and watch for the new videos coming. And I'm just so busy. I got to go because I got stuff to do. But thank you for joining. Talk to you guys soon. Have a good day.